Capricorn.
Capricorn, new format here, trying at least to see if we can change things up. It just creates new energy, doesn't it? But here, it's September 1st, we have a solar eclipse, and this solar eclipse is going to be in your 9th house for travel, higher education, for doing the research that you need. If you have any lawsuits or anything that needs to be fixed, you're going to have a lot of help this month to move through the motions of justice, right? And getting things just right. Now, this solar eclipse, well, you know, it is also new moon, is what that eclipse is all about. And that's when we put down our intentions. So in this area here, Capricorn, you're going to feel new things opening up. Not just like with an ordinary new moon, which you know is very powerful, but this has the power of 3 new moons as it is an eclipse, and it will open up new doors. Expect a big jump in leaps and bounds forward, and this will allow you now to just see where you're heading. So if you're thinking of going back to school, taking any classes, that kind of thing, what a powerful solar eclipse for you, because this is going to last and linger and empower you for a long, long time. We also have Mercury here, and we also do have Jupiter in this area. So this whole last year you've been moving towards higher goals. That's what Jupiter has been helping you with. And I could see how you've been longing to travel, longing to kind of expand your horizons, right? And you will be able to do so now, not just because you still have Jupiter here, but you're on the very final degrees of it, so you've had it for a full year. But I feel that this new moon, this solar eclipse, may actually help you realize one of those dreams, or at least setting plans in stone. We also have a lunar eclipse. That lunar eclipse is going to be September 16th. This will be 24 degrees in Pisces, which for you here, Capricorn, is your 3rd house. Now, the 3rd house also likes to move, but not as far a distance as your 9th house solar eclipse, but short trips, getting out and about, maybe a road trip or something. Getting you out of town would be perfect. Now, a lunar eclipse, as opposed to a solar eclipse, is all about our inner self, our emotions, and so forth. So we shut doors to the old. Why? Because what has happened, and bygones are bygones. Our lunar eclipses help us to get over and done with whatever it is that we're carrying around from the past, because why? It no longer behooves us. So shutting down, letting go is actually such a blessing. And always recall, though, that eclipses, the lunar eclipses that is, will never take anything out of your life that is still purposeful for you. So it's only helping you getting that little kick in the butt, right? That lunar eclipse, too, I feel is going to bring up perhaps something that might have been a little bit unclear, conversations of the past that might have been a little muddled, and this is because it is passing over Neptune just prior to. And so in that, it's picking up some of that vibration. So that can also help you look at what needs to go. If you're hearing that inner chatter, that could be it, where things have been very, very unclear, which you know can happen with Neptune. But now, on the other hand, too, let's not forget that Neptune is extremely spiritual, and it rules our higher chakras, our higher self. So this lunar eclipse will too be touching on it. So you might find yourself visualizing a whole lot more here. That is September 16th. Venus this month here, Capricorn, is going to be going through the sign of Libra. So we're going to be balancing our emotions, what feels good, what doesn't feel good, what is too much, what is too little, what is fair and balanced. Always just try to think of the scales, because the scales will always tell you where you're at. If you're giving too much, not receiving, you will feel resentful. Not a good thing. If you're giving too much and it can become a pushy factor, well, that's not a good thing, because then you're taking too much control. Find that midpoint. But the good news here is business, work, career this month. Why? Because Venus not only is in Libra, that's going to balance things out for you, but it is in your career area. So this is a month where you want to focus Capricorn, get those applications out for those of you that are really looking to change things up, right? And for those of you already in a very steady career, well, you know, this is awesome. You might just come to see there could be a mention of a raise or a new project coming up that you will feel Venetianly stimulated by. And not only that, but we have a second new moon this month on the very last day there. So that being said, this is also opening up doors. So you had a solar eclipse new moon and you have a second new moon, and that second new moon is in career. So you can see it's going to be a super powerful month for you. Excuse me, allergies. And so where's your drive? Let's look at the drive, and that is Mars, right? Mars here this month. You just had a run-in with Saturn, which happens once every 2 years, but they will never exactly be the same, right? Because next time around for Mars, Saturn's going to be in a totally different place. So what have you initiated here in August? Mars being your drive, your ambitions, your goals, and so forth. When it touched on Saturn here end of August, it was in your 12th house. So that has to do with your subconsciousness, the way you think on the inside of yourself. It's your inner spiritual walkabout, right? And Saturn will really give you grounding. It will anchor in, create, it will stabilize those things that you're working for. So it being in the sign of Sagittarius, you pretty much, I feel, you've been very focused on getting your goals, those higher goals. And of course, Sagittarius is very enthusiastic. So August has been pretty good with you, but you're all now preparing. Again, letting go. 12th house is always letting go. Finalizing a full cycle from Aries straight through to Pisces, then we let go, start all over again, right? So when I say Aries, not that Mars is going to move into Aries now next sign, because it's moving into Capricorn, but it's moving into the house of Aries, your first house. And so you're starting up a new 2-year cycle now. Whatever you're envisioning, Mars is going to be with you. Mars is going to move you forward. In that first house, that's you. It's your personality. So you're going to really feel on target moving forward. Mars will then be moving into a position with Pluto. So we have a lot of transformation taking place here in September and getting into that of October. So we got a lot going on. Saturn is now moving forward. It did there August 13th. So whatever went slow from late winter, early spring, straight through all of summer, you're out of the slowness. Saturn is going to be picking up speed. You are going to be picking up speed. And where are you going to be picking up speed? It's getting on with those inner emotional structures, your past. You know, when I say your past, it could be all the way back to childhood or even further back, right? But that is where Saturn is now working, operating, looking at the cycles that you have gone through. Saturn's cycle is 29 years, so you're pretty much working like 29, 30 years ago, if you're old enough to remember that. For those of you younger, well, this is also extremely important because Saturn is all about structure and foundation. So let's take a look at top of the month, and before I do, let's just mention I have a course, a special offer course for you, those of you wanting to study palmistry. So that is already now going fresh online, and I'd love to invite you to be my student there. There is tons to research, and especially for those of you here now with that Jupiter in the 9th house for higher education, looking into spirituality and so forth. So check it out. Just listen to the very end of this video. There's more info there. But top of the month for September, you're starting out with wanting to make a decision, needing to make a decision. And this is Sun and Saturn. They're square. There's a little challenge, and you might feel a little lost. Why? Because the Sun is also opposing Neptune. Neptune could get a little foggy when it's not clear. So if you're not in any position to feel totally aligned with yourself, right? With that sense of conviction, well, then don't do anything, at least not yet. I feel by the 2nd, some clarity is going to come, and between the 2nd and the 6th, even more shall become clear in your consciousness. That's when you want to make decisions. At any other time, step back. Always listen to doubt. Doubt only means one thing. All info is still not yet in place, right? So if you just wait and don't haste, you will come to see how this is really going to be doing the work for you. Mercury and Jupiter will give you clarity. It will give you great communication. And then we have on the 6th, the Sun and Pluto, also in a beautiful alignment, which is empowering you, the essence of you, the choice, the direction that you're taking, the choice that you already took before the 6th. Pluto transforming you, getting you onto this new chapter in your life. There is depth, there is, I'd like to say, joy too. Why? Because that Pluto's in the 1st house of personality. Every time it has a run-in, a good transit, it's empowering more and more. It's like building, structuring you, crystallizing your consciousness, because it is that 1st house. And that Pluto transit that you have is not a quick one. It's with you for years on years. So the Sun is really going to be beaming it, so pay attention there to the 6th of September. Then we have on the 7th, Venus, love and passion, but also money here coming in, and Saturn in a good place. Now Saturn for you shows up in a transit in the 12th, like we said, so you can come to see how Venus now in the career house, or the area of where you're heading as far as higher goals, okay? Saturn will lock something in, so if you're having any communications about career, direction, moving ahead, or in the business that you also have, well, this should be a day you should be receiving a whole lot of support. On the 10th and 11th, even the 12th, kind of little iffy days there though, Capricorn, for all of us, right? And it's just because Mercury's not in the best of places. Venus wants to test you now with whatever you took as a decision earlier in the month is now going to come to you and say, with a situation, say, is that what you really wanted? Yes or no? And we always become tested after any choices that we make, just to see where we're at, right? We measure ourselves through these testings. So 11th and 12th, well, if you are convinced that you are aligned with what you want, good for you. Just stick to it, own it, right? And if it kind of brings up doubt again, well, do listen to it. It's going to give you a second chance this month to align yourself with it. Mars and Uranus, Mars being action and Uranus, all about the unexpected wow factor coming together for you on the 17th. Now, this is from home and family. So either you are initiating something that has to do with it, or it could be a family member initiating something here for you. But I see it has to do with your foundation and security, interaction with these family members, and it's also for you now really picking up some more speed with those things that you've been thinking you wanted to do, but you kind of put it on the shelf for a while. And but you will see that the physical drive will be with you, and you'll get a lot done in a very short amount of time. Family members too can come to surprise you here on this date, and it could be actions they take, it could be news that you will hear. And I feel between the 17th and the end of the month, by the time of that second new moon there, which will be on the 30th, that's going to pop open some doors for you. So on the 19th, on the 20th, and then straight throughout the rest of the month, I see how your communication is deepening, how you're interacting with those who are supportive of you, and those that you need to draw a little line for. That may come up, but you know what, Capricorn, I can see that you're so at one with yourself. confident at what it is you're feeling. And I think that's where you're going to be navigating as far as taking the direction that you will towards the end of the month. It's empowering you, and you're going to come out with a sense of not just satisfaction, but with a validation. That's how I want to say it. Pay attention, 19th and 20th, for that validation to arrive. And it's coming from either a partner or somebody you're very, very close to. It could also be something you've worked for really hard that suddenly now is going to crest, okay, and get it out that way. So Mercury retrograde is taking place here again, and this will be August 31st here Capricorn. So for you, that's taking place there in the 9th house. It's going to remain there, go back in there, work through things for three and a half weeks. And of course, we don't want to start anything new that is important. You don't want to start any cases, new jobs, or if it happens to be with somebody you have worked for in the past, that's okay. If it was discussed in the past or even decided upon in the past, but not started, all that is okay. It's actually just the new things that you might just think that you want to hang in there until that Mercury retrograde is going direct again. So that will be for you until September 23rd. So October 1st onwards, when we move a little bit away from the shadow of that retrograde, you're doing really, really great. But for those things you've been wanting to do for a long time, retrogrades can bring situations back to us. See, back to consciousness. Sometimes we rejoin with people we haven't seen. Long-lost friends or even family members at far might come back in and have extra time for you. So listen, this is what we have. Do listen to the end of the slide here. Look at what palmistry offer I have for you this month, and have a good one. See you soon.